Well, Hillary Clinton is defending her husband and former president, Bill Clinton, saying that he should not have resigned following the Monica Lewinsky scandal.
In an interview for CBS Sunday Morning that focused on the record number of women running for office this year, she also spoke about Bill Clinton's conduct while in office.
There are people who look at the incidents of the 90s and they say a president of the United States cannot have a consensual relationship with an intern. The power imbalance is too great.
Who was an adult. But let me ask you this. Where's the investigation of the current incumbent, against whom numerous allegations have been made, and which he dismisses, denies, and ridicules? So there was an investigation, and it, as I believe, came out in the right place.
All right, that was CBS News correspondent Tony Dokoupil interviewing the former First Lady, and Tony joins us now on CBSN. That was a really good interview, and it is surprising to many people. It doesn't matter if you're red or blue, Republican or Democrat, to hear Hillary Clinton just outrightly dismiss Monica Lewinsky as saying, well, she was an adult. That's not the point of sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is the most powerful man in the world with an intern and doing the things that he was accused of doing. And for her to sort of brush that aside and then pivot to this whataboutism about Donald Trump was, I think, remarkable.
Yeah, so the context for the conversation is we're talking about the record number of women running in 2018. No one knows more about what it's like to run as a woman than Hillary Clinton. She's been a two-time presidential candidate, first woman to win the party's nomination. And so we were discussing the challenges that women continue to face. You know, 97% of the people elected to national office over the history of our country have been men. So it's still a new thing. Mm-hmm. But when we pivoted from her advocacy for women to how she may be a complicated advocate or a flawed advocate, I was surprised that she did not have a more nuanced and ready answer to what I thought were pretty obvious questions, given our cultural moment. We cannot change the past. The past never changes. However, typically, people's perspective on the past changes. And what's remarkable in this conversation is that Hillary Clinton's perspective in regards to her personal life in this area has not changed at all, even as simultaneously she is quite scholarly and reflective and fascinating on the subject of women and politics in general.
Yeah, it's really interesting because she was faced with that when she campaigned in 2016. You know, President Trump had no problem sort of hauling out the complicated, scandalous history of the Clintons.
At that second debate, all three of accusers of former President Clinton right there front and center. We did actually talk about that, and she denies that she was politically vulnerable. She says, look, I won the popular vote, more votes than him.
Wait, so listen, you did talk to her about her personal life and the 2016 election campaign. Let's play a little bit of that sound.
Okay, great. Okay? Looking back, do you wish you had done things differently in your personal life in the 90s? And if you had, do you think it would have helped you politically in 2016?
It's an easy question to answer no. No on both counts. I did what I thought was right, and I feel very good about that.
But when you support women now who are running with their stories of sexual assault front and center, does it make it more difficult for you to be forward as a supporter when you have not contended fully with the accusers in your own life?
Well, no, because there was the most intense, comprehensive investigation. People forget that, and I don't. I remember it very clearly.
And in retrospect, do you think Bill should have resigned, President Clinton should have resigned in the 90s in the wake of the Monica Lewinsky scandal?
Absolutely not.
So it wasn't an abuse of power?
No.
You do not believe he should have resigned?
No.
How do you contend with members of your own party now saying he should have?
That's their right to their opinion, but they were not in the middle of it.
It's a really interesting answer. And when I heard it, and I heard, you know, her response that Monica Lewinsky was an adult and sort of dismissing the abuse of power, I thought about our current day conversation. And, you know, our current day conversation is not about age. You know, many of the people who have come forward to say that they were there to declare Me Too were adults when, you know, these incidents happened. And I wondered just whether her own life experiences, if you saw any kind of echo of her own life experiences in how she sort of viewed Me Too today.
Well, her position on the Me Too movement is that it is a long time coming. All women should be heard and believed, she has said, but she believes in her personal life and in the cases surrounding her husband, those cases have been fully litigated, and those women evidently should not be believed. It's a different standard. I asked her in sum at the end of that portion of the conversation, do you think there's a double standard here? Any double standard at all? And she said, no. If there is, actually, it's a double standard that redounds to the benefit of the current occupant of the White House, meaning President Clinton faced a inquiry into his behavior.
He was impeached.
He was impeached.
Yeah,
there has not been a similar inquiry so far regarding President Trump.
I mean, the president's behavior, our current president's behavior, and he denies, any wrongdoing allegedly occurred prior to him entering the Oval Office. He was a private citizen, so.
Well, three of the Clinton cases also were private.
That's true. Yeah.
But here's the thing, Tony, that I think if you're an American watching that and you realize, again, it's sort of what I said earlier, it's not about your politics. It's not about whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. We just watched you interviewing a former First Lady, and the way that she framed the discussion when you asked her about her own experiences was much in the same way that I just heard Melania Trump frame the discussion when she was asked the very same question during her ABC News interview, which is that, look, I support Me Too. I'm out there for all the women that are running for office. Women should be believed, but hey, not when it comes to my husband. When it comes to my husband, I support the power structure. And that's what women in this country and around the world are facing. It's not just men that refuse to hear women out. It's sometimes women, too, who say, look, yes, I support all that, but when you look at my own family or you look at the people that I know or that I'm connected to or that are part of my tribe, hands off.
What's really remarkable about the Monica Lewinsky case is that it is a rare case where the facts are not in dispute. It's not like it's being denied that there was an interaction there, right? Mm-hmm. The facts are not in dispute. What's in dispute is how we view those facts. And what's really unfortunate in this whole thing is that Hillary Clinton occupies a very special place in women's history, in American history, and always will. And if she had a more complete answer to this particular question, I think the other things that she's done with her momentous career would be more in the limelight and less so this.
Yeah, good point.
Really fascinating. Tony Dokoupil, great interview. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.